Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
All right, welcome back, guys, to another Flyover State of Film flyby conversation. This is for those who don't know. If you're new to this program, this is like a smaller, pared down version of our Flyover State of Film episodes, where two of us just get together and talk about two movies that pair well together, or have a common theme, or we just want to talk about two movies. With me today, I have my man, my ginger, TJ Dex. How's it going, TJ?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on our show together.
Yeah.
You know, I figured you would bring a smart person on for this one. You want more woke ones, you know? So here we are.
I don't think we have those on our podcast, but so we picked today, as the title probably says, The Vast of Night, which was released on Amazon Prime, director Andrew Patterson, and also The Five Bloods, a new Spike Lee joint released on Netflix. So the reason why we picked them is both of them play with aspect ratios in a way that transports you to the time and place they are trying to cover, and also both have, while one is more overt, but both have commentary on how government treat its society and racial inequality.
Yeah.
How about we start off with The Vast of Night?
Yeah.
Since that one is more straightforward, we don't have to bite down into that a lot. Like I said, first-time director, first-time writer, first-time editor, Andrew Patterson, which is a very, in my eyes at least, a very impressive debut.
Yeah.
This is the cheapest of cheap sci-fi movies that you'll find. It was made for $700,000.
God damn.
And it does not look it. There's nobody in this movie that you'll recognize, probably. All of them are unknown. It was shot in a small town of Texas because it looked the most like
old school,
a 1950, 1950 town. So quick intro to the story, and then we can just actually talk about it. The story follows two young teenagers. One is a radio DJ, and the other is a switchboard operator, Faye and Everett, or Everett and Faye, if I want to put them in order of their professions. So it's in 1950s New Mexico. The switchboard operator, Faye, starts to hear a weird sound coming through her headset, and then she also starts to hear it through the radio where Everett is talking and playing music. She calls Everett. He hears the sound as well, and they broadcast it through the radio, asking callers to see if they've heard this sound before.
Yeah.
One caller calls in, a black gentleman by the name of Billy, and he tells them a wild story regarding the sound. That's pretty much how, not spoiling it entirely, we can talk about it. First off, what did you think about the movie as a whole, and then we can like go into like the details.
Well, it's crazy that this guy was a first-time director for this. He wrote it. Did you say he edited it too? That's insane. Like okay. A lot of people were talking about this movie when it hit Amazon Prime. It's a quick one. Was it like an hour and 30 minutes? Maybe.
Hour and 30, yeah, super tight.
Yeah, really tight. I love alien stuff, and I think Spielberg produced this too.
I don't know, but it does have that third encounter feel for sure.
That's the one thing I loved about the trailer for this. It had like that, take it a step back in time to the 50s. It definitely had that feeling of like, I mean, the wonder. That's like the number one thing with these type of films, like the wonder. There's not a lot of things going on. Everyone in the town goes to a basketball game.
Yeah,
that's like the big thing. I didn't hate the film. I didn't even dislike it. It was just kind of bland for me at first. The characters I didn't really like, Everett and Faye. Not too big of a fan of them. But then once we got into the Billy stuff and like it kind of picked up pace a little bit.
Yeah.
That's when I liked it more, but then it lost me again after that part. And then you meet some old woman. I still don't understand what happened there with her or what she was asking. But no, I mean, you see a lot of people talking about like how this is an amazing film, amazing feat. I didn't see much. I mean, look, it's a good film. It looks great. Mm-hmm. It's just, I think about Everett and Faye. How old are they in real life?
Oh, I don't know, but I think she's probably in the movie wise 16, and he's probably 19.
Yeah, and like something about I keep wanting to call him Emmett instead of Everett, which just sounds better, Emmett. But something about him, how he's like the radio jockey, but like everyone loves him, and all the women kind of react to him. And he's like this, like King Kang, throw a thumbs up at you. Like, oh, you got a problem with this? I'll fix this. And like everybody wants to talk. I don't know, something about him I just didn't like. And then Faye was annoying as can be. But the film,
he
looked incredible.
He was for sure. So I'll disagree in that. I didn't hate the characters. They weren't fantastic characters. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, the layers and how well it was. No, I was fine with them, but he did throw that huge fish in a small pond vibe.
Yeah.
And that if you would have dropped him in like New York City, he would have just drowned. Like that type of personality that, everybody was like, oh my god, that's the cool kid here. Oh, have you heard about Everett?
Yeah, smoking cigarettes every 30 seconds. It's like, dude, you're gonna die.
And I like that she even calls him out on it. I don't think she did it on purpose, but it made me laugh. But she was like, why did you always put on that stupid voice when you're on the radio? And he's like, I don't know. It's just how people on the radio talk.
And he's so twangy outside of that. He's so twangy.
Yeah, he's very but I did the thing that I and it happened to me as well. And I think why people have been so high on this movie is not because of the story itself, it's the experience of how the filmmaker, and that's why I keep saying like it's an impressive debut.
It's incredible
how he really emerges you in that period of time, like that sense of wonder, where even a fucking, like I said it on my review. Why I love movies.com. I said it on my review that if it happened today, we would have just like been like, oh, that's a weird sound. And then you was just going off and jerk off in the bathroom and keep watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Like nobody would have cared. But back then it was like, oh my God, what is this sound? And they also set it up with all those like magazines that she likes to read.
Oh yeah.
About the potential future that they're going to have and all that stuff. So they already embedded. Yeah, they already embedded that sense of wonder in her. But like I said in the beginning, the thing that I really loved about it is, this is a very bare bone script. Like, if I could summarize it in 5 sentences, the entire script. But the experience of it with the aspect ratio, that it shifts to like almost like this 1950s TV set.
Yes.
With the color grading. is wonderful. During certain portions of Billy's stories, it all fades to black, so you're just like forced to listen to the story.
I thought my TV was fucked up at some
Yeah.
point. I was like, oh my, why is my picture out? But I still have sound. And like fast forward, and I'm like, there it is. And I move back. I'm like, wait a minute, it's supposed to do that. Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, I really did it, and also the score is fantastic. It's very Spielberg score for sure.
Simple. It's the same thing with the whole movie. It's like
Yeah.
it's maybe filmed on 2 streets, used like 3 buildings, and like
Yeah.
that's it. And like
Pretty much.
it's dark all around for a lot of the movie, so you can reuse a lot of this probably the shots again.
Yep.
It's different angles. So it means smart. The way he did it is so smart.
And I guess if you want to avoid spoilers, jump to whatever time code here, or just skim forward. And when we were doing this,
Yeah.
no longer. But I did want to address the lady, and if I address the lady,
Please
it's going to
explain
be
this to me.
spoilers.
Yeah.
So spoilers 1 through 3. So the sound is coming from an alien ship. Billy tells us that they hired black and Mexican people to work on the base because who the fuck is going to believe a black person or a Mexican in 1950s that they saw an alien ship and is being used by the government, which is part of the racial commentary that
they even do it too with the basketball game where Faye's telling Everett about the other team, and she's like, yeah, it's a team, a bunch of Indian boys. And she's like, we're definitely going to lose. All of them look like they're adults already. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. So the movie does have, some layers in there outside of the craft in the filmmaking. But yeah, it's very bare bones. I'm not going to read in super into it. But the lady itself, she calls because she's also heard the sound, and she heard it through her son. And her son heard the sound and then disappeared.
Yeah.
Meaning he was abducted by aliens. So her shtick is like trying to get them to bring her with her once they find the source of the sound, because she wants to be reunited with her son. That's pretty much what her deal was.
Yeah, I'm trying to like, are they? Well, I mean, we never really find out. They're not. They're not malevolent. They're not down here to like. I don't know what they would do. Like the aliens, what people like. They never put it across what.
Yeah,
it's there for.
I feel like it was very of the age, in a sense that back then they just thought people just disappeared. Period. Like they weren't here to invade. They weren't here to experiment. People just disappeared, and that's pretty much what happens to Faye, Everett, and the baby. Which I wanted to watch the movie again because I was writing the review, and I kept trying to remember why the fuck did she have a baby in her hands. I know she went to a house and she picked up a baby, but I didn't know why.
It was the woman. The woman was saying, either the woman or someone was saying that they only take people when they're alone. So in her head, the aliens, I guess, only take people when they're alone. So I remember the whole movie. She's trying to get to a girl she's trying to get in contact with a girl who's babysitting her little sister.
Oh,
and then once she finds out that supposedly the aliens take people that are alone, and she hasn't picked up the phone, she runs to the house, finds a little girl by herself, and for some reason the babysitter's not there. But then you figure she was like at her boyfriend's house or something, but left the baby all alone. I was like, wait, what? So yeah.
Oh, so she didn't want the baby to be kidnapped. That's
even though she took it to the to get kidnapped. Oh, what was the recording? She was saying the thing. The woman was saying all that weird stuff, and they're in the car with those 2 people, and they start playing the recording. Those people are just like, and just go out. That was weird too.
I feel like the thing with the recorder was set up in the beginning so they could do that, and that during that recording, the aliens put something in her recording that knocked out those assholes.
Because I'm sitting here, I was just like, does the sound, if you've been contacted by them before, is that how you get affected by the sound? Like, it was just a weird thing.
I don't know. It's again super bare bone, but the camera work, the editing.
When that woman started talking, I just kind of checked out when she was talking. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things that I applaud him, and that he knew what he had written, meaning he knew it was basically a stage play. So in his head, he went like, I have to jazz this motherfucker up as much as I can through editing, to color, to through aspect ratio, through camera angles, and he went bananas on it.
I feel like he might have used. I don't know much about camera work, but it feels like he used older cameras for this because it did have that feel of like a movie you watched in the '90s, kind of.
I didn't research that aspect. I know that there are you can shoot on digital and post at that effect. It's not the same quality wise, but knowing his budget, I doubt that he could afford film.
700,000. Wow.
I doubt that he could afford film.
And you're not spending really money on promotion either. I mean, it's Amazon Prime. They gave a couple.
Yeah, it premiered on, I want to say, Sundance.
Okay.
And Prime bought it and just dropped it out of nowhere. And it has gotten a lot of like good word of mouth. So hopefully, like he becomes like a, I don't know, like a Trey Edward Schultz type deal where he made Krishna, and then everybody's like, yeah, let's give him at least $5 million, and he made It Comes at Night. Like it's
would you be surprised if Marvel in their Phase 4 is like, you know what, Andrew, why don't you come in here and do like a Moon Knight or something like that? You're like, gonna ruin the guy.
I don't know. I think they're just hitched their boat to Taika. Everything is gonna be Taika.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah,
surprised, man.
I don't know. Do you want to talk about it a little bit more, or think you got it?
My other thing too. There's a shot. Maybe he could have used a little bit more, but I see what he's going for. When you first see the alien ship, you don't really see it, but you do see it.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's like in the woods. You have to like really eye attention to it. Yeah. And at some point, you do get like the full on lights. You know,
and it's a beautiful spaceship too. Like design wise, it's very well done.
It felt like E.T. It felt like Close Encounters. Like it had that. This dude is crazy looking. I'm looking at the director now, Andrew Patterson. He just looks full on like if Edgar Wright was in the woods for a really, really long time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. Oh yeah, he's seen an alien for sure. Yeah. This is his life experience. That's why it's so well written, because he was also a producer.
And that's these are his only credit, is just all.
Yeah, this is everything for him right now. So hopefully he gets something.
I don't see why you wouldn't.
I mean, also, we tend to like overlook this aspect of it. Probably happened to Jordan Peele as well. Like Get Out was like, oh my god, this is such an amazing debut. I can't wait to see what he does next. And then you realize he was writing the script for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Obviously it's an exaggeration, and that's why it's so good, because he's been like mulling it over and over and over again. So hopefully he has something else that has been brewing for a while, and he can come up with something as fun as The Vast at Night. And probably he was very limited. And again, that can be a pro and a con. Like a limited budget can be a pro, that you look for more creative ways to get to the point. So even if they throw more money at him, it could be a deterrent for him.
It's kind of glad that they didn't throw more money at him at this point. You're just like, here's 700, man. Let's see what you can do. And they probably got the first, saw a raw cut, and they were just like, yep, keeping 700, man. It's working for you.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, that's how Terminator 2 was it? Terminator 2 happened, or no, 1. Where they had to like illegally shoot movie scenes because they ran out of money and permits. So,
dude, that's so smart going to Texas, where I mean, you do find a lot of towns are still stuck in time. It's so smart doing that.
Yep. Blair, would you recommend this movie? Let's do this just in case people think we're still spoilers. Would you recommend this movie for anyone looking for something to watch?
Absolutely. I would recommend this movie strictly for the director at this point. I'd give a little background. 700,000, first time doing everything. Dude. Yeah. But I would link it together with other films, maybe. Do like a Close Encounters and Vast at Night type of a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thing. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's quick too. Hour 30.
Yeah. Especially now that people are just looking for anything to watch. For sure, give this a try. Also, even though we've mentioned like Encounters a couple of times, and
Yeah.
it does have an homage to it, like it does still feel like unique to him. Like
Yes.
it's his vision. So yeah, for sure, give it a try. You never know if you're like finding the new favorite director or just like that one hit wonder type movie, kind of like Donnie Darko, where
Yeah.
he never make anything good again. So yeah, how about we move on to a guy that is not a one hit wonder at all.
Oh.
A guy that just keeps, in my eyes, keeps getting better somehow through time, through focus, and through having this political climate to just pinch his wagon to uh, and fucking destroy it.
And also
Hopefully,
talk about how the studio kind of tried to fuck with him at this one and not give him shit, and you know what I mean. It's completely different from what the first one.
and it's yeah. If it was Martin Scorsese, this movie probably would have had a $300 million budget, but it's a Spike Lee joint. So this movie came out in a couple of weeks ago, actually,
Yeah.
and it's garnering a lot of great reviews, and I got a lot of deep analysis, especially since we're in the middle of riots and police brutality, and that movie pretty much, and also um, government abuse of the army.
Yep.
National Guard. It's not army, but they have guns. So directed by Spike Lee, written
Yes.
by Danny Bilson, Paul DeMeo, Kevin Wilmot, and Spike Lee. Originally, this idea was pitched as white soldiers coming back to Vietnam.
Because we need more of that.
Yeah. And then it was, translated into what we see today.
Yep.
It stars a bunch of people, great people. I'm going to mention the main five, main six, considering the son. Delroy Lindo, Jonathan Mayers, Clarky Peters, Norman Willis, Isaiah Whitcock Jr., and Chadwick Boseman, for sure.
Yeah.
To give a brief synopsis of this movie takes place like in two timelines. The first timeline is our five African American vets fighting in the Vietnam War. They're in the middle of the jungle, and they find a crashed airplane full of gold that was meant for the village of Vietnam that had sided with the Americans. It was kind of like just a payment of thank you or retribution for their alliance.
Gold bars.
Gold bars, because everybody can take a gold bar to the bank and buy a house. So the second timeline is four vets coming back because their leader Norman had died in Vietnam, and on the outside, they're telling people that they're trying to find the body of their leader so they can give him proper burial. But in reality, they have a second goal, which is finding that gold and bringing it back to America to have their money to do whatever they want with it. Then once in the jungle, shit happens. Like the greed, the lust, and the ghosts of their past hunt them, and the group falls apart. And also, there's like a second party in where they want the gold for themselves, pretty much. So it's a lot, but in reality, the movie starts off with a bunch of clips from the time, a bunch of great black voices such as Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Angela Davis, speaking out against the Vietnam War, why they're being sent out there, being used as a tool for the oppressor, which really marries into today's society where people are saying you can't kneel for the flag because whatever, even though that flag has never fully meant what it means to white people, to black people.
Yep.
It's a very deep pond that we can drown in, but it really does set up the movie well, in a sense that it starts off very cynical, very aggressive, very well deserved, angrily at America, and then it ends in a note that at least I felt it was very hopeful, very uplifting, and it ends with Martin Luther King Jr.'s words, and it also ends with, spoiler alert, with the gold being used for the betterment. And we also have a great monologue from Paul to his son.
Yeah.
That's pretty much like the whole movie itself. Like I said in the opening, they play with the aspect ratio, but they do it in such a fantastic way.
Yeah.
Where literally the black bars just close in on the action and surrounds the 5 actors in this war hell that they're currently in. But yeah, what did you think about the movie now that I've talked so long?
No, man, this movie is one of those movies where, I mean, most people, especially now with today's climate, like, you knew this movie's coming out. I thought it was incredible. It was one of those things where I'm watching it, I'm invested. Again, you go into this thing and it's kind of like a buddy get together, go to Vietnam, kind of have your memories. It takes so many twists and cool turns, and you're just like, fuck. But yeah, it's 3 hours and 30 or 2 hours and like 30 minutes or something like that. It doesn't feel it. You're like, at one point, I'm just like, I look down, I'm like, I've been watching this for 2 hours. Like, that's insane. Probably the performance of the year from Delroy Lindo.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It's insane, and like the way the Make America Great Again hat, how he was for Trump, how he was racist towards the Vietnamese people for his own reasons, obviously.
That was a fantastic angle that I'm sorry that I'm interrupting.
Yeah, good, yeah.
That aspect of the movie, like, obviously there's a lot to bite into of why that character and the Frenchman wear the Make America Great Again hat.
Yep.
To symbolize the greed and obsession with prosperity over, righting the wrongs of their past. And how in the end, I don't know which one it is. The one with the black daughter. Half black, half Vietnamese daughter.
Yeah.
Like, he's shot and the hat falls on him
Otis.
in the end, and he's like screaming like madness and laughing at it because it's the perfect encapsulation of what's happening. Like, there's the Make America Great Again is built on top of the bloodshed and chaos of the blacks and the Vietnamese and all the minorities that America has fucked over. But Make America Great Again is literally on top of it, which was just visually amazing.
Yeah, because there are a lot of Trump supporters. A big majority of them are vets and people who have served, because he has a forked tongue and knows how to talk to them. But like, from that to the father-son aspect, where at first you don't like the son because you think the son's obviously just in it for the money, which he kind of says he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Otis was probably one of my favorite characters in this. In this whole movie, Delroy's performance was incredible, but Otis, the one with the daughter,
because he's like the
middle ground, like
the middle, exactly.
Yeah.
Storm and Norman is, obviously we're being exaggerated, but Storm and Norman is kind of like the Martin Luther King, and Delroy is like Malcolm X, just like,
they have that
themes.
Well, the one thing they do a lot too is where they have the Vietnamese radio host. They comes on. It feels like it's straight out of the Warriors too. The way the woman's just talking over the thing, but she's like, Martin Luther King was assassinated today, and they just all fucking lose it because they hear it over the radio, and then she makes it. She kind of enforces like a white, the white agenda against the black agenda. So they're like, let's fucking kill them all. And Bozeman has like that moment where he's just has probably one of the best speeches to him. They're just like, and that's where you see what Storm and Norman was to them and why this is so important for them, because obviously they didn't do facial, they didn't make them young I think till the very end, that picture, which is jarring. But like when you see Chadwick Boseman as the young person, he's with them as adults. Like they're the older guys, so they're not changing anything. You just see from there what they remember now of him. It's kind of like one of those cool things. It's not a flashback to them younger. It's a flashback to them adults looking at the younger Storm and Norman and being like, "This is what we see. This is what we still see in this guy. And this is why we're here."
And that's a great point because it would probably, again, like we said in the Fast of Night, the limitations of the budget influenced how it was made, and Netflix didn't want to give Spike Lee money for the de-aging, probably because they spent $1 billion on The Irishman and were like, yeah, we're done with de-aging. But it did give another layer of storytelling in a sense that you could see that even though everybody was supposed to be young, they look old because like the war had aged them already. Yes. They were no longer the young men that came into the war, because I think that's their third tour.
Yeah, third tour.
That's when we're doing the flashback. So they've already killed and witnessed shit ton of things. And also, like you said, it gives them that layer of, this is the old man seeing themselves in the memories of Storm and Norman as well. So yeah, it does have an added effect, even though originally they did want them to look young.
No, and I was gonna. Spike Lee's not known for action, right? I'm not really. Boy, oh boy, when it hits, it hits, dude. I was not expecting anything like that because again, the movie goes from like best friends going back to find their fallen friend and give them a proper burial. They have the approval from the U.S. that when they find it, they can flag it, pull a copter in, the whole nine. Then you see the gold thing. You're like, okay, I can see why you'd want to go. Then it just takes this whole action turn where they make a deal with a French banker who was working with Otis's Vietnamese prostitute from back in the day, which was also the wife of his daughter.
Yeah.
You find out that she's not a part of it, but he, spoilers, anyone watching this, spoilers. He told, or I guess hired, like, Vietnamese soldiers or whatever the fuck they were.
Like a militia.
Yeah, like a militia. It's like, he's like, you find it first, kill the guys, give me, a whole, like, twist on them. And that goes insane at that point.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it doesn't shy away, even in the opening sequence. It doesn't shy away from blood and violence.
No.
But obviously, the opening sequence hits harder because it's real violence and it's real bloodshed. But the scene that it didn't take me by surprise that it happened, because I was kind of like waiting for it to happen as he was backing away.
Yeah.
But how it looked afterwards, it was so gruesome and so hard to watch. And especially like he was the only one really trying to keep Norman's voice alive. I feel like he needed to perish so that others like kind of wake up to the reality of like, oh fuck, we actually are being greedy. We actually are being thrown away from the original goal, which was like help our people, help our society, and help our cause. But that again, like that's the greed and that's the pain of. I think I tweeted you or Joe. Like this really reminded me of Treasure of Sierra Madre, which is like a Humphrey Bogart movie where they originally have this like, oh, we're just gonna cultivate the gold in this mountain and we're gonna split it evenly and everything's gonna be handy dandy, and then like paranoia and greed just takes over and it destroys the group. Well, Leroy has this dark secret that he's keeping from the entire group, which is like he's the one. He's the one responsible for killing Norman, and that's why Norman has haunted him for so long. And he has a wonderful, cathartic, and powerful sequence where he's bitten by a snake in the jungle after abandoning his son that got shot during a shootout, which is like fuck.
But also set up the what do they call on a pirate ship? A mutiny, I guess, basically
Yeah.
against them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he's like, he's not my son anymore, which is just
Yeah.
like, there's so many. You know what the thing that's cool about this, about the greed? Think about this: 5 full-grown men, strong men, probably.
Yeah.
How many pounds of gold do you think that was? The fact that they took every single piece and we're just like, hey, we can't carry all this. It's. I mean, Otis probably has a bum knee. Other than
Dude,
this, and they have this moment with the son.
yeah, they do. I feel like it was very realistic in that sense. Like they were
Yes.
so fucked up from walking with that gold.
And then Delroy's like, obviously his son who's jacked. The Otis like takes his bag off and he kind of takes it. He's like, if you're gonna use my son as a mule horse, you're gonna give him a full share of whatever we're taking, which was like 17 million a piece. It's like they wouldn't even skate like little parts of it. It was insane. Like the way the greed was put out on screen in so many different ways, from the French guy to the militia just wanting their money back because they think it's theirs. That America obviously fucking came in, destroyed their shit, and just gave them gold bars. Like they just want what they was owed to them.
That's
insane.
And that's an argument or an angle that I don't think I fully processed. I know I wrote about it and I saw it and I understood like the duality of the oppressed being used as a tool for the oppressor.
Yeah.
Like the Vietnamese radio host, which happened in real life. I didn't know that. I just researched was it real or was it like a Spike Lee thing? And also, it happened in World War One, at least according to Watchmen. The German soldiers tried to recruit also the black soldiers from America over to their side. But yeah, the who is owed what in that movie is a great question to ask. Like, is the Vietnamese people that got slaughtered, that had Agent Orange thrown on them, villages that had nothing to do with anything that was happening, and just people just massacred them? Are they the ones owed the money, or is it the ones that had been oppressed their entire life and thrown a gun and said you have to defend us or you can't stay with us anymore? So that's an intriguing question, and that's partly why, and obviously I don't want to get too political here, but this movie merits it. That's partly why the uprising has been so consistent and so strong this past couple of days, because it's been bubbling. Like this entire society is built on this. And whenever you're shown the past, whenever you're shown like in Mad Men and in Watchmen, the Tulsa massacre, or you're shown in this movie the massacre that occurred in Vietnam and the protests that were occurring here in America, and they were killed because of the protests. But all of that is just swept under the rug, and just like they keep walking, and you keep walking over the same rug over and over again. Eventually, somebody's gonna pull that rug under you, and you have to face the realities.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a powerful movie. It's not perfect by any means. There's a couple of cheesy moments. There's a couple of moments that I was like, you don't need that in the runtime.
Could we have done without the 3 white saviors who were walking around the woods just to find, which was perfectly placed there for, it was nice foreshadowing in the beginning when he meets Heidi, the girl. Also weird, Paul Walter Hauser just showing up out of nowhere in this. I was like, wait a minute, did you like win an Oscar or something like that? Like, not that you shouldn't be in this, but it's such a small role. I was like, is that what it is? Oh shit. And then like it turns to like them having to save Delroy's son when he steps on a mine, which that didn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
No.
The way they pulled him off, I was like, it still would have went off and killed him. But yeah, there are things that you give and take with this movie, but the message itself and the acting between the 5 guys is fucking mwah.
The acting, the craftsmanship behind the camera, the editing, the soundtrack was fantastic as well. But yeah, I feel like if I feel like hopefully they'll take it more seriously. Like, I mean, in terms of awards.
Yeah.
But if anything, if you need to watch anything in terms of like, oh yeah, this should be nominated, is that staring at the camera,
Yep.
dead on staring at the camera and giving one of the most powerful monologues that I've seen in a while.
Incredible.
Like he delivered that fucking monologue. Like I have chills right now thinking about it.
Same thing, dude.
He
It was one
killed
of
that
those
fucking
things, man.
monologue.
It's like, because okay, well, I mean, I don't want to jump too far. I mean, whatever. Everyone, everyone, all the guys in this movie end up passing, right?
Yeah.
Other than the son. In this, everyone during the last.
Otis is alive. That's the only one I think.
Did he get back? He went to his
He's-
wife and daughter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. And then the son goes back to America and teaches.
Which is a fantastic. Sorry that I interrupted you. It's an amazing thing that I didn't know about. The racism that half Americans, half Vietnamese children faced in Vietnam because they were of the invading force, which is just like I've never even considered that. Go ahead.
You gotta think like there's probably so fucking many because that's all there was to do around there. It was either do heroin or go to a fucking a fun prostitute. Like it's like one of those. It's okay. It's not. It has its problems in the movie, but it's a movie that everybody. I think they should. I mean, you can't show it in school, but there's some parts of this like you teach it more, make more movies about this because that shit's real. Like we've sitting here watching Saving Private Ryan and all these other war movies where none of this is ever mentioned. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, and you don't read about it in school really, unless you have a fucking woke teacher, which nowadays I'm sure you do. But back in my day, no, you didn't. They were all the same angry fucking people that just wanted to get out of the school that day. But I mean, this is a type of movie that
they had the same curriculum for 20 years. It's like I'm just checking out boxes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this is the type of movie. Spike Lee is a genius for this, for putting commentary in these movies, but making it so rich, so smart, and so real that you shouldn't turn away from it ever. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, and again, the same conversation that we've been having. If you're uncomfortable, you're supposed to be uncomfortable. This is not a pretty thing that is happening. It's not a pretty thing that has happened. And the only way that we can move on from it is by accepting it, understanding it, learning from it, and growing. Not sweeping it under the rug. But as a movie itself, like stripping everything society speaking and all those commentary that they did, it is a fantastic movie. They use, like we said, clips from the opening to sandwich them with the clips from the ending, showing the arc of the entire group. They've gone from angry, violent people to greedy to uplifting in the end, showing that growth that they needed to go through, that cathartic moment. Even those three white saviors get their moment, which I kind of liked as a theme, but they did not need to be there because like she said, her ancestors have profited off Vietnam for centuries. So it is more than just America needs to look at their past. So it is a good theme, but it didn't work for me at all. But that's fine. All right. So would you recommend this movie?
Oh, in a heart fucking beat, man. This is one of those movies that, like, if I had kids and they were of age, like 14, and we've seen some violence before, this is something I'm sitting down like, you're gonna fucking watch this, and then you're gonna do some research right away. I'm not gonna tell you it because I'm not smart enough to tell you it, but you're gonna do your own research and educate yourselves and educate me at the same time. Shit like that. But it's incredible.
Tweet at us and educate us on what you found. But this is a fantastic movie. I'm very impressed by Prime and Netflix recent string of originals. Like they're really trying to highlighting voices that wouldn't have had a platform in main theaters. Probably Spike Lee would have done good because
Yeah.
Black Klansman did very well when it came out on theater. But many of these stories needed just like a simplistic platform for them to just drop and people eventually just finding
the perfect timing.
Yeah, no. It's crazy how cathartic Klansman felt because it was right after the Charlottesville. Fuck,
I think it's Charlottesville.
Yeah, riots and protests and that white nationalist
torches.
And now 2 years later, it feels equally or even more cathartic with the riots and the police brutality, and now he comes out with a movie. So hopefully, I doubt it because this society sucks ass. But his next movie can be about a little girl growing up and being happy because it fixed society.
I honestly hope that when things from the pandemic calm down and obviously people go back to movie theaters, Christopher Nolan stops bitching. I hope they give this a release in theaters.
I do too. Especially in that, and not because just of the message, because yes, the message needs to be more widespread. Filmmaking wise, those action sequences, those should be on a fucking huge ass screen. And I heard them on my beats, so at least I kind of appreciated the sound design and the explosions. But in a theater, that would be amazing. But yeah,
hell yeah.
I think we're done. I think this is good. This was a good conversation.
Yeah.
Where can the people find you, TJ?
Oh man, you guys are on Flyover State of Film YouTube right now. You'll find me on Twitter at TJDex. Guys, check out episode 51, our 50th anniversary episode. We have flybys before this with me and Joe talking 90s kids sports movies. We got Yusef and Brian talking Planet of the Apes anniversary and all those films. And then we also have Yusef and Joe talking Mandy and Color Space. Guys, check them all out. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, we're having fun. We're distracting ourselves from the world ending outside of our windows. Yep. If you liked us talking, check out our main episodes. It's just the same, but more people talking over each other. And my website, wildlovemovies.com, where I write more reviews and just vent. Thank you for checking us out. Hopefully you're watching the movie. And catch you on the next Flyby. Bye.
Peace.